Shalom and welcome to Mitzvah Torah. This year is entitled, Where Should One Place His Hanukkah? Part 2. We discussed the introduction, some of the Shitot, and now let's talk more halakha ma'aseh. Where should one place the Hanukkah? So the fact is, it is a Drabbana mitzvah, it's the right mitzvah, but that doesn't make it any more or less complex. The bottom line is, it's a sugya, and it's a complicated one, and we're not going to give one answer where to place. Each person must go to his or her posek if there's any unclarity, and either send pictures to the posek or ask posek to come. I've done a few Hanukkah hops. Rabbis do Sukkah hops before Sukkot and Hanukkah hops before Hanukkah. So nothing against doctors, but rabbis still make house calls. So it's very complicated, surprisingly so. And it's most important that everyone has a posek they go to and doesn't just judge on their own, because it's not simple. Here are the factors involved. So yesterday we said that in the Shulchan Aruch, in the introductory shir, the Shulchan Aruch gives 3 levels. He says if you have a door right on the Rosh Hashanah, your house opens up to that, that's what you do. That's the shita that everyone would agree on. That you have a thoroughfare and your door opens right to the thoroughfare. Next is if in front of there's a chatzer, in front of your door you have a chatzer, a little yard. Then the Shulchan Aruch writes you do it by that chatzer, by the opening to the chatzer. Rav Yasha says you do it on the outside, Rav Chanina says you do it on the inside. But that's what you do. Not everyone agrees on how to apply that today. Huge argument in the Chazon Ish and the Soloveitchiks and all the poskim. Do we say the chatzer of the Shulchan Aruch, the Kohen of the Shulchan Aruch is the same as the chatzer today? Or Chazon Ish wants to say, well, that was what they used to do things. They worked in the chatzer, they did the laundry in the chatzer. It was a usable area. Now it's just an entranceway. So Chazon Ish doesn't like by the entrance to the chatzer today. What the Soloveitchiks do. So, and then your poskim go both ways. Then the Shulchan Aruch has a third case where you light in the window. Now, what was his case? Were you on an upper floor? Oh, so we should light it. You want an upper floor, lights in the window? No, because Mishnah says, what's that case? That where do you go in and out? How do you enter and exit your apartment? Through the neighbors on the first floor. There's not one entrance to the building that 6, 7, or 10 or 12 people use. There's one entrance to someone's house, and you go in and out through that house. You rent a room or 2 upstairs. We don't really have that case so much anymore. That's certainly not a typical case of a binyan today. And therefore, lighting in the window. Who can light in a window? Who has such a setup today? So there's a lot of variables involved. So as I said, let's go through halakha l'maaseh. But as I keep stressing, a person must ask his or her posek what to do. And if you have a family minhag, what you do, and it goes back to your posek, great. And if you have the simplest case that everyone agree on, great. And if there's a shayla, ask. So, as we said, the easy case if you have a door open up right to Rosh Hashanah, which hardly anyone has today. Then you have the buildings. So when you're building, now the question is, what do we say about the entrance of the building? What is that exactly? Is that like the entrance to your door? It's not like the Mr. Brewer's case where it wasn't really my entrance, my neighbor's entrance, and I use. It's my entrance, and my 11 neighbors also is their entrance. So Rav Yasha says exactly. Rav Yasha says it should be right there by the Cheder Madregot. However, other poskim are not convinced that the Cheder Madregot, the entrance there really is the case of my entrance, and they would prefer. And some of them prefer doing it in the window of my home. And that's actually better. So one person has talked to that posek about which one does the posek prefer, the entrance to the building or the window. Now, of course, if the window is above 20 amot, which is 10 meters approximately higher, 3rd, 4th, 5th floor, then that's another problematic issue, because from the street, halachically, it's not considered that as presuminis. Yes, you could look up and see it, but it has to be that naturally as you walk, you'd see it. So most poskim say that that's it. Once it's 10 meters, it doesn't work for Shus Harabim. There are those that want to say if it's one building, it's only when it's like separate, placed on a 20 amot pole or something like that, but it's a straight building up, then the eye would catch it. Some want to say that. Some say when you do it on the third, fourth, fifth floor, you have your neighbors across in another building, so it would work over there. Once again, a person has to talk to his posek or her posek and see if you're on the third, fourth, fifth floor, would that be acceptable option? Another option is for those who reject the front door being the front entranceway to the stairwell being a proper entrance, a proper place for the mezuzah. So what about by my door on the fourth floor? So I don't have to worry that's 20 amot high because it's on the ground of the fourth floor. It's not raised up for not trying to even get the people from Rosh Hashanah outside to see. It's for my neighbors to see. So for those that say that the entrance of the building is not considered a chatzer today, it's not considered the entrance. And for those that say that you can't do it outside, you can't do it by the window because you're 20 amot high, so then the door by your hallway is a viable option. Only a few people are going to walk by my doorway and see it. Okay, but that's my option. And therefore, that's what I should do. Another factor is, do I say that once I do it by my front of the building, even if not so many people will see it. If I do it in my window, so many more people would see it. I get so much more Pirusa Minisa. If Yasha says, no, I do what Allah is supposed to do, which is by the front of my building, and that's it. 2 people, 10 people, and if I do it in my second story, I get 150 people seeing it. Doesn't matter. I don't start making calculations. Others say, not so simple. I do look into the full picture. Chaim Kanievsky leans more towards that. So what you see is you have basically how many places could one possibly lie? The entrance to his front parking lot area, where there's an argument, do you need a halachic tzuras Pesach or not? The Rav Yashiv and others say you need to have a proper wall with an entrance, and then you put the mezuzah there. You put the Chanukah there, the Menora there. Rav Shlomo says, no, the front of the parking lot area could be a fine place. That's one possibility. Front of the building is another possibility, according to some opinions. Then you have your doorway into the hallway. That's another possibility. And then you have by the window in your house, which is another possibility. And if it's within 20 amot, 10 meters off the ground, that's halachically is a very good viable option. If it's higher than that, that's a much more compromised option. So those are 4 possible places that one could light. The beginning of the parking lot area, that would be the entrance to the Chatzer, according to Shlomo Zalman Auerbach and others. The beginning of the building, the entrance to the building is another option according to some. By your doorway is another option according to some. And finally, by your window is another option. And these all have to be worked out and talked over with the posek. Some poskim, Shuvot Vanagot actually says to do it by the entrance of the building. So you have Rav Yashiv and you have the Rav Soloveitchik, you have that shita, the briskers. And then do it and have in mind, make a bracha, then they go right upstairs like by the window. So you have the Chazon Ish as well. So you have both shitas. So those are some of the options that are available. I'm sorry if I'm confusing anyone. The purpose of this year is not for a person to walk away. Psak Allah, this is what to do. I cannot render that because there's too many variables involved. But just at least give a person an overview of 4 or so different options that are out there, and then be a little bit more involved in the sugya. Shalom.